Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on July 24th, 2023 at approximately 4:23 p.m. PST. Now, I've returned to this world for one primary purpose, and that is to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I bill myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools I personally use in my day-to-day life. And the philosophies of life that I talk about are the exact same philosophies that I actually live by. Now, with this in mind, if you ever actually meet me in person, you'll find I'm precisely the same way that I am here. Okay, I don't do a lot of research. I do look at a whole lot of different things. Okay, but primarily today we are looking at how do you kickstart your life today to make it into something you can be happy with. Okay, now this does not mean it's going to be easy, but I will tell you the tools that I offer, I've handed out for literally thousands of people over the years. Okay. Now, to date, when I calculated it properly, which I usually do in the long run, quite frankly, I've got well over 100,000 clients under my belt. Okay, and everybody they end up succeeding in changing their life based on their own individual efforts. Now, remember, the best tools in the world are absolutely useless if you don't pick them up. Okay. But this isn't a question of do what I tell you because it may work for you. This is a question of if it applies to me, I've already been doing it and I already am doing it. Okay. So before I get any further, we already have Chad in the house with the gold. And, with that in mind, before I go any further, let us eliminate that little problem. There we go. And we shrink this down so we can actually get Chad's link up. Now, this is the Chad to the archives. This is the Chad. This is the link to the archives that Chad has done. And absolutely drop by. He's got some great ideas, some great outlooks on life. If you like what he has to show, what he has to say, do give him a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel. Okay. Now, we have Eternity Eternally in here with the silver. And Joe Stewart has arrived with the bronze. Okay, now, like I said, we're looking at kickstarting your life today. Okay, now the way that happens, quite honestly, I can talk until I'm blue in the face. Okay, well, sort of, I won't. Okay, but, and by the way, one real question before I go any further. Hopefully, those of you in the chat room can hear what I'm working with. I had technology problems again today. Shock of shocks. But I'm hoping that the sound is coming through clear enough for you. And if you pardon the feedback for half a second. Okay, it would seem that it's picking up on my end anyway. But we start off with a real simple setup. Okay, what do we got here? Get that out of the way. Let's get things started, shall we? Now, like I said, this method I definitively live by. Sheet of paper. Now, you may well work with a computer, or with notepads, that sort of thing. Okay. Hopefully, I'm glad you're here, Joe. Hopefully, though it's been a long day, I do hope it was at least a productive one or an enjoyable one. Now, I've got here a whole stack of paper. Now, this is all blank. This is just so I can make notes as I go along. Now, of course, the important factor here is we take a look at this. I forgot to move that out of the way. And yes, all this excess stuff that's in the way is going to be going. That's actually what today was about, what I was really occupied with today. But just looking to see what I've got because today is Monday. At least I hope it's Monday. Where are we here? The 24th. Good. Okay. So, today we're looking at how to kickstart your life. So, here's the first thing we do. Okay. First and foremost, take a look around you. Make sure you've got a pad of paper or a computerized notepad, something to make notes with. This is where we get started because I've been looking at the way the world's going, and there are literally billions of people that will be out there standing there telling you the world's doomed. We're all going to die. We got food shortages. We've got land shortages. We've got oil shortages. I'll tell you, we got a lot of short people out there too, and they're not getting much taller. Well, the little ones are, but the fact of the matter is, you only have a shortage if you're looking at the world in the view of lack thereof. Okay, now do not get me wrong. I am not a millionaire by any functional stretch yet. Okay, I have come to a very definitive decision on how I'm going to go about making it happen, though. And like I told one person, and now I'm telling you, I'm going to build an empire. I'm not content with the way my world is. And that doesn't just mean the one I'm living in. I mean, I walk down the street and I see people struggling day by day to try and get ahead of things, to try and get a handle on the way their life is going. Well, I'm telling you, this is the time to stop that kind of struggle. Okay, now I'm not telling you who to listen to. I will tell you, if you're sitting down on a regular basis in front of somebody telling you the world is ending and you're going to die and you're going to be miserable unless you're one of a very, very select few. Okay, now you get to figure out where this number comes from. I'm not bothering with it, okay? But here's the thing. There is a group of people that will tell you only 144,000 of you out of over 8 billion will be given a decent seat. That is not the way reality works. This is a perpetuated stream of dogma designed to make you lose faith in yourself. I'm here to tell you, and I've been here multiple times in the past. Okay, yes, I remember my past lives. It's time to take a look in the mirror and go, what are you content with? Okay. Are you content with the way your life is? Okay, and if you are, this is fantastic. I'm laying odds most of you are not fully content with where your life is going today. Okay, so I've got here a sheet of paper, and the things that I'm working on at this moment, you notice I've got boxes here and what have you. I think this one here has a bunch of stuff in it that will be going the way of the Yldrbac, because I don't know entirely what's in it, but I do know it's got a bunch of stuff I don't require. So it will be going. Okay, that'll actually be one of the first things that goes. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I've got a box here. Like I said, this is not a question of looking at what may work. This is a question of making absolutely certain if you're not content, you do something about it. Now, you can do what you can sit back, you can procrastinate, but I will tell you this. If you're procrastinating, all you're doing is postponing the inevitable. Because whether you change your life right this moment, or whether you change it next week, okay, whether you postpone it until next week, you're the one that's got the ability to change it. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. Nathan goes, I'm listening from work. Not too busy yet. Okay. Neat part about work is it's up to you whether or not you make it busy. Now, don't get me wrong, Nathan. Absolutely. You've got a job, and this applies to every single one of you. If you have a job, if you're working for somebody else, you agreed to that job at whatever wage you're making. Okay. Do the job to the best of your ability. Okay, I heard one person recently, they applied for a job and they were told honestly by the owner, you're getting paid minimum wage. That's where you start. I kid you not, this kid came out of high school, looks at them and goes, well, if I'm only getting paid minimum wage, I'm only doing minimal effort. Weird thing. They didn't get the job. Okay. I mean, you're not going to be, if you're working for somebody else, they set the value of you. Myself, I've decided I'm going the other road. I'm setting my value. Okay. But it really boils down to this. Okay. You make the most of what you've got. Now, I'm looking at this. And of course, this box here is just for stuff to go to my house. Some of the stuff I've got here, I am getting rid of it. None of it. It's all material and something you got to remember about the world. Okay, and that issue is this: if you're not content with the world you're living in, it's time to really. Yeah, I should probably sit down where you can see me. What do you think? I was told by a professional videographer, you should sit still so that people can pay attention to what you're saying. You know, I've tried sitting still for people to pay attention. I've tried ranting and raving. I've tried getting, really depressed about it. I've done all of these sorts of things. People that are going to listen are going to listen. Okay. Or they're going to pick up what makes sense. Now, what have we got here? Just because of the fact I do still keep an eye on what's going on. What have we got here? Joe's just going, I had to run some errands with my parents all day. But I myself go to many public places where there's people, sometimes stupid people. Oh, Lord, yeah. I could go on for hours about the stupid people I've run into. Now, do understand, I realize you tell someone they're stupid, they're not going to like what they said. What you said. Now, here's the funny thing. I remember being in a staff meeting in a job I just started at. And we were all asked to give our input. Right. Well, there were a bunch of things that the staff commented on. They wanted more say over how, for instance, they wanted more say over how their boss, the guy that hired them and was paying them to work, spent his profit. They wanted more say in how the company was run. So it finally got around to me. And I sat there, I told the boss, I said, if it's okay with you, I'll speak after I hear the last few people. So it come back to me and I said, I've been listening to this and I'm new here. I'm new in your life, potentially. Okay. But I said, you guys have all said regarding this one company, I said, you guys have all said you want more say over it. And somebody mentioned that this is a fledgling company, right? It's just in its infancy. I said, frankly, I'm listening to what's being said, and it sounds like I've got a bunch of kindergarten dropouts, as far as staff goes, sitting around the table complaining about the color of the sand in the sandbox. Now I says, this is ridiculous. Quite frankly, you guys are all supposed to be adults. It's time to realize that. It's time to take that into consideration. One of the people looked at me and they said, I don't like what you're saying. I said, well, that's okay. I didn't say it to make you happy. I said it because it's the way I'm looking at it. Yeah. Joe goes, I may have to recluse tomorrow at home if I can help it and start on that path again of mine in the backyard. Yeah, and that would be absolutely the trick. The one thing with that path in your backyard, Joe, I would love to see it come to fruition. And I realize you've got plans for it in the whole 9 yards. Just remember, okay, and this applies to everybody, and I know you don't fall into this one there, Joe, but yes, taking a break from the outside world is absolutely imperative sometimes. Sometimes. But you could look at your path that you're looking at, and you could go, I'm going to get a foot done today. Okay, just a foot in the path. Thing is, you can say I can accomplish anything in life if you set your sights low enough. Okay? I'm building an empire. I'm done playing games. I'm done listening to. That's not, that's not the way society works. I don't care. Society is broken, in my opinion. So I am building an empire. I'm building a publishing company. Now, for you to take control of your life, Joe, try that again. Joe, I really strongly encourage you. Absolutely, if you're out all day today, which you are, okay, take tomorrow and relax. Focus on you. Focus on grounding yourself, on really getting back in touch with you and accomplishing what you're aiming at. And yes, coffee in hand. Got a whole pot up front. It works out rather well. Well, in all fairness, I've got a pot up front that's about half empty. But you desire your life to change today. Now, like I said, I've got a box here that's full of stuff that I don't require. Some of these things I was given by people I know. Some of them I ended up with. I don't know. But the fact is, I don't require them. They've been in this box for literally years. Okay. So I'm just looking at it now and going, no, it's time to get rid of things. So this stuff, this stuff here is stuff that's got to leave. Now, I will tell you, I've been doing this a long time, a very long time. This was actually written by a client of mine. Okay. And when she sent me a copy, and this is literally what it says right here in the book. She goes, Keith, you are always a beacon of hope and light. I am forever thankful for all you have. I'm forever thankful to have known you. Now, I'm reaching out trying to get a hold of her again. This neat little book was called The Politics of Exclusion in Graduate Education. Needless to say, this was a woman going after, and she was going after a PhD. I'm not entirely certain if she got it yet, because we lost contact. But the book itself, yes, I could hang on to it. Okay. And this one I'm probably going to. I'll see what I've got left. The rest of the stuff that's going is just an issue of I don't require it. Now, it'll all go down to a store, to a secondhand store. Here's the thing. Ended up picking this up. That's the Hunger Games. I haven't opened the thing since I got it. Apparently, I'm not going to be reading it anytime soon. But the thing is, take that sheet of paper. Okay. Take that sheet of paper beside you. Hey, Derek, how we doing? Derek goes, finally, I catch a live YouTube. It's not giving me the notification SMH. I have no idea what SMH stands for. But how you doing there, dude? Glad you could join us. Yeah, it really is, Joe. But no, from my standpoint, you decide what you're working on. So what I've done to give you an idea of how this whole thing is going, you pick something that's got to be done. Now, I've already been working for what? We're at 4:42, so I've been working for about 9 hours today. Well, about 7. I spent 2 hours this morning playing Skyrim. But while we're sitting here, take a look at one goal that you have. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's just a question of your dishes aren't done. And it's something that you feel should be done. Now, remember, procrastination is a great way of putting things away. Putting things off. But when you think about it, no matter how long you put it off, when you get around to starting it, okay, you're starting it in the here and now. This is the only time in your life you're ever going to start anything, is in the here and now. Okay, so I've already got things on my list I've got to get done when I get done here. Okay, You can actually take this and check a couple of them off. Went out, got my groceries, got the post office dealt with, got the start there. I'm going back, like, how do I put this? Take a look at your life. Okay. What project or what thing is sitting in your house right now that is in the wrong place in your eyes? Okay. What are you not content with? Because you're the only one in existence that's going to straighten that out. Okay. I hate to be the one to pop your bubble. If you're one of those billions of people that is sitting there in front of somebody telling you only a very tiny select few are going to be helped, okay, because you're special in some way, I'll tell you, they're leading you down the garden path, okay, because the reality is you have free will, you have free choice, and you have the power to change the world around you. Now, it may only be a little tiny change. Iowax, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Iowax is going, they want me to write my thoughts about a sky that I once knew. That's what they like and like. I wouldn't lie to them. And, quite honestly, I won't lie to anybody. I've been offered money to lie to people. As a matter of fact, Hollywood actually offered me a whole pile of money. I have no idea how much, in all fairness, to tell my life story. I told them what they could do with the idea. Cowie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. When the guy was talking to me, he goes, look, you don't know how much money you're turning down. I says, I understand entirely how much money I'm turning down. What you don't get is how little I care about it. Okay. I go out, I help people as I can. And you guys are right at this moment, you're at the top of the list because you're right here, right now. So I'm telling you, if you've got a project that you've put on hold, now's the time to go, time for my world to change. Okay. Time for me to take control of my world and put it on track. Okay, now, my other fan died, so I got this one. Works like an absolute charm. You'll notice it's really big. But this is the time to take a list, to put your list together. Now, I've got on this list, what do we got here? Oh, yeah. Won't be doing that until tomorrow. Okay. Now, take a look at what you've got around you. Is anything in your house right now, and I mean just within view of what you're doing, is anything not where it belongs? Prime example, okay, and I'm a firm believer that you use what you've got. I had lunch earlier today. So, and no, it was not a bowl of this thing of sour cream. It was actually a rice pilaf. But it was frozen, so I ate it from there. Now, here's the thing. It's sitting here on my desk. That's not going to work. So I take it over here. And it'll go on this shelf until I walk out the door. Which, as you guys have all seen, I may walk out the door while I'm still working. If I do, that thing goes with me. Okay. But if you're sitting in, if you're listening to somebody tell you, you can't do it. Okay. I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to show you two things right away. Okay. Somehow, now, just a thought, Callie, because I've heard this happen before, not only with YouTube, but with any electronics. Double check and make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. It may have, for whatever reason, it may have unsubscribed you. But this seems to be a glitch in computers on the whole. I hear it regularly from a lot of different people. It's also one of the reasons I don't actually rely on computers to tell me what's going on. Okay, but, you're the one that's got the opportunity to change where your life is going. Yeah, it's called water. you know, yes, I do have a tendency keeping my hydration level rather focused, primarily because I don't feel like dying. Oh, look at that. I don't know if I've got that one done, but that does tell me where she used to be. But take that list, write down one thing you're not content with, because this is the time to get started, not tomorrow. Now, if you're listening in after today, like let's say you're not able to listen in while I'm live, and you're just hearing this video now, right now, while you're listening to the video, take a sheet of paper and write down just one thing you're not content with. Okay, it may be where something is sitting. It may be, it may be that something is just a little out of kilter, or perhaps you've got a letter that you keep postponing writing. Put it on the list and get it marked. Okay, what am I looking here? Okay, that's got to be moved. So what I do here is I go down to the bottom now. Today is the 24th. So I'm going to start setting things up for tomorrow morning for things that I know I can't get done today. So we take this one and we go record, upload. Because yes, that is one of those big things I am working on putting together, is getting the ability to upload videos as well as continue with the live. Okay. Now, you take a look at your life. Okay. Are you excited to be awake right now? Or are you looking like, the question I always ask is, thought stop. Am I looking at a world that I'm content with? That I am doing everything I can to make this a better world? I'm telling you, here I am sitting here telling you, that was really poor English. It's time to get up and make this a better world. That can be by doing something as simple as putting a smile on your face and saying hi to a person on the street that you don't know, or one that you do know. Okay. One of the biggest things I look at is there's one thing there will always be time for. There will always be time for regret. If you choose to live in the past, if you choose to look at what you did not do or what you didn't take advantage of, what opportunity you let pass you by, there is always going to be time to regret it. Okay. How you doing, football? Glad you could join us. Now, here's a piece that you cannot tell by listening to what I'm doing. But I've got my window open here. And therefore, what I'm telling you guys, anybody outside in the parking lot can hear the same thing. I'm not about to apologize for that. As a matter of fact, since I tell people the same thing out in public, pretty much the same idea holds. Christine, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, again, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. And then please share the daylights out of it. It is time that, it's time I step out of the shadows and do exactly what I came here for. Well, I've been here multiple times over the past several lifetimes, trying to tell people you can make a difference. You can do things on an equal basis. You absolutely can. Okay. Yes, football, even the birds can. Now, right now, I don't have a right nearby. I can still hear them off in the distance. Okay. But yeah, but I get along with the birds. The funny thing is, I've got screens on my window not to keep the flies out. I've got screens on my window to keep the birds out. It's a really weird setup I live with, but hey, I live with it. The nice little part about it, I know from my standpoint, Christine, I can't speak for other people, but I do hope your day is going well. For me, it's been rather productive. Okay. like a lot of the stuff here that I've got. Let's see. Get that out of the way because this is just kind of in my way as far as that goes. So it's got to be moved. Just so I can get other things. Get things moved, dealt with. But let's not go over there that much. Because you lose track of me altogether. I know you can still hear me. It was funny. Oh. Yeah, you couldn't see my fan. My fan is just that big at this point. The other one burnt out. But temperature-wise, what are we looking at here? Oh, that can be terminated. Right now we are at, 26 Celsius and 24 Celsius. Okay. But 24 Celsius is 35 in the high 80s. Okay. So yeah, it's still pretty warm. But the reality of it is this. You've got an option. You can listen to people tell you you're useless, you're not going to get anywhere in life, nothing you set your sights on is going to work. You can absolutely buy into that. I'm kind of recommending, no, I'm directly recommending you don't buy into that outlook. Okay? Because I will tell you it's counterproductive. Now, two major factors. One, and is it visible? No, of course not. I am putting out a newsletter, okay, Positive Perspectives, that does come out once a month. Anywhere in the world, it goes for free, whether it is a soft copy or a hard copy, a physical thing. But in any event, I'm not charging for it, period. It just goes straight through my advertising budget. It's very much like the charity I work with. Now, when I say I work with it, I run it. I have not set up a legal charity. Okay. I have set up a ratio of the money coming into my world and gone, this is how much is going to charity. But understand something. Any charity you're helping, okay, and I do recommend you help and that you are charitable. Absolutely. But any registered charity you're putting money into, okay, first and foremost, most of the money you give them is going to their administration costs. Now, one of the reasons, before you guys ask, that I haven't built a registered charity is because I'm not interested in tax breaks for it. I'm not interested in getting donations so I can pay my taxes. Not going to happen. So I take 10% of my net income and put that towards helping other people. Be it buying somebody a meal, buying somebody groceries, buying somebody something. Right now, I just don't have a lot. So much as I will end up helping people in the long run with medical expenses and what have you, I won't be doing it on the back of a registered charity. Okay. And I haven't talked to a lawyer yet to figure out how to make that work. I mean, I know for an absolute certainty, if I want to help somebody, if I give somebody on the street, if I decide I'm giving somebody on the street $5, okay, I don't have to have a charitable organization to be able to do that. If I choose to give somebody $1,000 for a tip, which one day I will shock the daylights out of a waitress. Okay, before the end of this year, I don't know which waitress is going to get it. Okay, but I'm going to shock the absolute daylights out of a waitress somewhere and hand them $100 tip. Okay, now I tip pretty well anyway, but for me, this is just one of those things that I deal with. I'm not saying you should do it. Okay, I absolutely intend on leading by example, which is why when I say if you're listening to somebody, whether it is a community leader, a spiritual guide, a close friend, a bloodline family, a chosen family, whoever it is, okay, if they're telling you you cannot succeed, okay, or that you cannot be productive, absolutely ignore them. Okay, take into consideration and do your own research, absolutely. Make certain that you're thinking things through. Because I will tell you, what I talk about are the pitfalls that I ran into, and my hope is that by telling you about them, you will be able to avoid your own. Okay, so I'm looking at this, and I've got to now. From my end, it's simple. You have a goal. Okay, you yourself, I know, have a goal. And I know you've probably been listening to the news talking about how everything's miserable and there's so much pain in the world. Do understand, if you listen to or read one negative report, make an absolute commitment to yourself, not to me, not to whoever you're praying to yourself, that you are going to listen to, and at least for every one negative you're listening to, listen to two positive. Okay, this will help balance things out. Well, it'll imbalance them, but it will shift them over so that you're focusing on a more positive life. Okay, now I noticed this morning, last couple of days, I've actually been, well, frankly, neglecting my exercise. The only person that's hurting is me. Okay, and that's why, this funny little thing. I'm not going to a gym. Why do I need to pay for a gym? I mean, I tried for it before. One day I will end up owning one in all likelihood. Am I ever likely to actually go to a gym and go, oh, let's get a membership so I can get somebody else to motivate me? I'm telling you, it works. Use that if that's what it takes. Absolutely. But from my standpoint, it's simple. You concentrate on the things you desire to do as long as you're following karmic law. As in, be true to yourself first. Get a dream in your head. Go after it, regardless how old you are. Take into consideration your own health possibilities, your own health limitations. Absolutely. Okay. But get focused on a goal that you would like to attain. Okay. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're not too old to accomplish it. You may be too old to accomplish it by the time frame you set for yourself. But if you desire to change your life now is the time to get started. Okay. So, I mean, when you're doing that, I've got my paper or my desk set up. That's the easy part. Those are a couple of books that I've got to decide whether I'm hanging on to. But I look in here, and what do I have? Of course, this is neat. That's a loose leaf page or a loose leaf book. But why throw it out? I can utilize it to just keep going on the things that I require, to keep going on that list I'm talking about. And yes, a list works like an absolute charm. Okay, because what you do, and I was shown this actually by a millionaire. Okay, very successful businessman. And what he did was he carried the list with him. He put 3 things on the list. When he finished one, he checked it off and immediately wrote a 3rd one underneath it. Okay, now, let's see. This funny little book here literally contains the backbone to how I changed my life. Okay, and if you're looking for what these books are, these ones contain this one, the Believe in Your series. Okay, you'll notice it says Believe in Yourself. In other words, get a look in the mirror. That's the person to look to. That's the one that needs to believe that it's possible to make things happen. Okay, now if I do this, I go up here. If you want to get an idea of the different books I've already got in print, this is the website that works. Okay, now, of course, a couple of ways you can do this. That's the website. Well, that was different. There we are. And this is the best email address to get a hold of me at. Okay, if you want a complete list, even beyond the website, this is the email address to either order things through, whether it's directly through me, because I do take either direct email transfer. In Canada, that seems to work. In the States, you're likely going to have to go through PayPal. But that's also the email address I deal with through PayPal. Okay. Now, the thing is, you desire your life to change. Now is the time to stand up and say, hey, and here's something to put on your desk. Like I said, time to kickstart your life. This funny little sign, put that on your fridge, not the wood one, okay? This one's hand burned. But these 4 words, I am worth it. 4 most powerful words I've ever seen in combination to help somebody actually, in any language, change their life for the better. Those 4 words will bring you a sense of self-worth, self-esteem, self-motivation, okay? And all of these things lead to prosperity. Now, I'm 60, okay? I decided it's time for me to actually live, to come out of the shadows and really start telling you guys, and not just talking about it, but showing you that this is going to happen. Which is why I figured while I'm standing here, I might as well look at this. See, I've got paperwork here I've got to look at and decide what to do with. See, even some of this information. No, I didn't make that one. Okay, but it has been hiding forever. Oh yes, this is a letter from a company that actually shafted me royally. So this is paperwork I'm going to have to go through tonight, which means I'm going to stack it up at the end of the desk here and make certain I get to it. But you want to kickstart your life, it's time to look in the mirror and go, I can do it. I am worth it. I can do it. I can accomplish it. Okay. Because I'll tell you there's very little in this world that you cannot accomplish. Okay. There really is. But the question is, are you ready to change your life? Are you ready to quit looking in the past and going, I've been through all this garbage. I'm not debating you may have had the worst life possible up until now. But the choice you've got to make is, are you going to continue living in the idea that you've had all this struggle? Are you going to focus on that struggle and continue replicating the same thing? Or are you going to start focusing on the success you can have? And here's an idea of how difficult success can be. Okay. Since that, I'm going down. See, this one, this will give you an idea just where my mind goes. Okay. Here's something I've had around for a long time. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to end up taking this and wrapping it up. And this is something that the North American Indians actually pulled off absolutely beautifully. You get a gift. Once you're done with it, if it's still in good shape, if it's still usable, pass it on to somebody else. Okay. In my case, where this is going to go, because this is, this says a magical Christmas, in case you couldn't tell. Okay. Now, this particular book will go to somebody. Okay. Whether it's somebody that is short on gifts for their own kids, because, I'm a firm believer that, Christmas is not about the gifts. Don't get me wrong. Christmas is about family. Life is about how you live. What kind of a positive mark you leave behind, not how much stuff you accumulate. So this will end up going to somebody. And here's an offer for anybody that is out there. If one of you wants this, because quite frankly, it's going somewhere. Okay. If somebody, there's a picture of it. It's going somewhere to somebody. Okay. I don't require it anymore. I certainly am not keeping it. So this year, okay, and I don't know when it's going to disappear. I do know it will. What have we got here? Oh, Emmy, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I am glad to hear that the newsletter got there. Already started working on the next one. So what I've set up now is I send them out on the 17th to make sure that I can get them out before the end of the month. Okay. But yeah, with this particular book, it's going to end up getting wrapped up and sent somewhere for somebody for Christmas. I have no idea who. But here's a direct offer for you guys. If somebody asks for it before I get rid of it, it'll go to that person because I haven't figured out where it's going yet. Okay. Again, if I'm shipping it somewhere for obvious reasons, this won't go by email. Can't imagine why. Let me just double check one itty bitty detail. Because like I said, it's not brand new. Well, technically it pretty much is. I'm just leafing through it to make sure that it's not written on. And no. So it will go somewhere, but this is how Christmas is going to go for me. Because these are simply things that I don't require anymore. Okay. So what I'm doing, because the way I figure it is this. Gifts are not everything by any functional stretch. But the best gift I ever got, the best Christmas I ever had, and this year is going to be very different for me. Okay. The best way I ever had Christmas come about, I was having a lot of trouble with food. Okay, I was really short on money. My brother turned around and he went, he turned around and he took a whole pile of groceries, wrapped them each individually, put them in another box, and then wrapped the whole box up for me for Christmas. I'll tell you, to this day, okay, that is the most emotionally impactful gift I ever received. Not bad. Remember I told you I misplaced something the other day? Okay, this is what happens when you start going through stuff. I actually was concerned that I'd actually thrown it out. Because that would have, as in, sent it somewhere else. But this particular deck, this is the deck of cards that got me into the consulting field. Okay. And when I first got this deck, okay, it's a Rider-Waite deck. But I was given this for Christmas. My parents didn't have a clue well, maybe they did. But they didn't know what to get me for Christmas. So they bought me this, and this is the same deck I got the Christmas of 1979. I was 16 years old when Mom and Dad bought me this for Christmas. And I'll tell you, it changed the way my life was going. It didn't change my outlook on life. Okay. But certainly changed my approach to it. So, was I happy when I discovered I hadn't actually lost it? Yeah, well, maybe I did lose it. I'm not sure. I know there are days when I wonder if I've lost it completely, but we'll see how that works. But no, you desire your life to change. Pick a goal and make it happen. Now, like I said, gifts do not make a Christmas. Family does. Gifts do not make a home. Monetary expenditure does not make your life better. Okay, it doesn't. In and of itself, it really isn't that important. But I will tell you that the North American Indians had it right. That's where the whole thing, as far as I understand, if I'm mistaken on this, somebody speak up and let me know. But my understanding is that a potluck, people would bring, they bring a meal, yes. But it was also done where everybody brought, if you got a gift for Christmas or for a celebration and you didn't like the gift, you didn't go, oh, it's terrible. You turn around, thank the person for receiving it, and then hand it over to somebody else. Christine goes, I miss Christmas toy shopping when my girl was little. Now she's an adult. She was so happy. Well, here's a funny thing. Okay, I wonder if I've got. I don't know if I do. Oh, I don't have it yet. I'm hoping to get it back. Okay, about 15 years ago. Yeah, it would be about 15 years ago. This is something that, it's funny, because if you've got somebody, even an adult, that you don't know what to get them. Remember, a gift is not an issue of what that person says, oh, can I have this? Let's get back up there, Joe. I'm going to cut myself off there and take a look back up. That's all. Emmy, Joe. I do not know how I managed to do that, but I'm pretty certain why. Oh, let me guess. It did it again. Yep. Where are we here? The fact that I didn't answer it pretty much says I missed it there, Joe. Just scrolling up quickly to see what, and there we go. The last thing that I've actually got listed in my feed, Joe, the last thing I've got here, you commented, that's right, it's 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. Right. That's the last thing that's in here at all from you. So no, it doesn't seem to have even come in. Which is annoying to say the least. So no, Joe, if you would be kind enough to repost it, I will be absolutely intent on answering the thing. And this is why I mentioned that it's absolutely imperative, if I don't answer a question, do exactly what Joe's just done. Hey, I had a question, did you happen to catch it? And the fact that I didn't answer it pretty much says no, but absolutely repost it and I will do my best to catch up. But I looked at it, this was where I was going with that. About 15 years ago, now bear in mind, at 15 years ago, I was 45. My ex-wife, who I still get along with, by the way, gave me that for Christmas. It's a stuffy. If you got nothing else, they've got everything they need. A stuffy works. Okay, they'll look at it a little weird and go, why would you get me that? Well, because I thought you needed a hug. Okay, for me, it was really kind of an odd thing because I was fighting depression at the time. And because I saw myself as an absolute freak of nature. And what my ex went and did was she got me the stuffy and she goes, you are a freak of nature. And she hands me this platypus. Well, of course, it was buried. It was wrapped up. And she hands it to me. And she goes, but so's this. A platypus is a freak of nature. But they do have a purpose. But it's a freak of nature in a good way. And that was not how I was looking at myself. And of course, then my munchkin, my youngest, just gave me this last year. Okay. Again, I've got everything in the way of a material world that I really functionally need. But I'm building an empire anyway. But it's not about the gift. It's literally about the feeling that it generates. And let's see if we've reposted that there. Now, when I talk about changing things, okay, I've got a bunch of things here that I'm starting to pull out. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm putting together about things that are going to somebody else because I've got no use to hang on to them anymore. You know, and some of these were gifts, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not about to hold on to a bunch of stuff I no longer have a requirement for. Now, this little book here, okay, and again, it really boils down to getting your life in order and deciding what you desire. What do we got there? Scroll down again. Okay, I found this, and this is actually a Bible, but you'll notice it says it's the Boomer Bible. Now, when I first saw it, I thought that this was a Bible, that this was an explosives expert's Bible. It's not. It's baby boomers. But you got to understand. Okay. Now get a look at this. Okay. I go to the list of books, and it's written. This is literally written like a Bible. Okay. If you'll notice the layout of it, okay, I don't expect you to be able to read that. Okay. But it's literally written like the Bible is, with chapters and books and the whole 9 yards. But get this. Okay. You've got Bibles in it, or you've got names in it like kinesis, apes, names, gods, lies. You read through the thing. Now, a buddy of mine did actually read this. Like I said, I'm terrible at reading a whole pile of things. So a buddy of mine did read this. And he said the really hilarious part of this, as much as it's written almost tongue-in-cheek, historically speaking, it's extremely accurate. Now, I'm not going to read some of the titles because I will tell you I'll get in trouble for it. Even though I didn't write it. Okay. But, you know, if we take a look at some of the later chapter titles, we've got things like Adam, Chuck, Carl, Ziggy, you know, Frankie and Johnny, and we've got these other ones. You've got Willie and Vinny, and you've got the Jeffersonians, the Kensingtonians. If you're my age, the King of Kensington and the Jeffersons were two sitcoms that were on. Okay, even if you're not my age, they were still sitcoms back then. Okay, but like I said, it's quite the read. Is this likely to go in? This will probably go to a secondhand store. It's leaving. I'm not hanging on to it any longer. Matter of fact, I know I'll put it into a secondhand store. No, that's what happened. This is actually what prompted me to decide I'm going to put a poetic anthology together. Okay, but get this. I talked to you guys about this before, and this is one of those dreams that you guys can make happen in your life. Okay. If you've got a poem if you've got a poem that you would like to get published, okay, I made the mistake of doing this years ago. Now, I paid $75 to get my one poem into this book, okay, and have the hard copy sent back to me. Now, the fact of the matter is that, you know, when I worked it out, the people, you can take a look at the number of poems in here at $75 a poem. Before they ever hit production, they were already $30,000 net profit, including the cost of printing one book and shipping it to every one of the people that participated. In my case, it's not going to be hard copy in all likelihood, but I will be taking other people's poems, putting them into a book, and all I'm going to require is obviously the poem, a letter. If you've got a poem that you desire to have printed and you don't know how to go about getting it, getting it done, I'm going to be doing it this way. I'll need a copy of the poem itself, $20 Canadian, and a written letter stating this is your work. Okay. Plus, as well as a letter stating that I've got the right to publish it. If I get those 4 pieces of information from you, then when I print the book, and I can't tell you when, because it depends on how many poems I get when. Yeah, it's one of I write in, well, poetry I've been writing for years. But the fact of the matter is, when I wrote one, and as a matter of fact, I wonder if I can find it easily. I don't know. Because I don't know if I've actually I don't remember if this thing was actually done with an index. Hopefully it's got an index in here that tells me, but we'll find out. There we are. Nope, that tells me who I am, but I already know who I am. I question it on occasion. Yeah, this one doesn't have an index, so I'm not about to go hunting through it. But, like I said, $20 will get you a copy of the book with your poem and multiple others. I'm looking at it'll probably end up at this stage being a book about that size. Okay, actually about double that size. Okay, I've already got the cover being worked on. But the reality of it from my standpoint is this. If one of your dreams, if one of the things you thought, gee, I've got a poem I would really like to get printed, but I've only got one. Okay, I can make that dream happen with you getting the book in your hand. Okay, it's that simple. If you're interested, again, the email address I posted up a little bit above here. Okay, as a matter of fact, right now it's still at the top of the screen. I can make that happen for you because of the fact that I'm putting it together anyway. Okay, so I mean, that's one of those books that I will be keeping. I just got to figure out where to put it. And, whoa, that was bad. By the way, a leg that doesn't work is usually a pain in the neck on occasion. Oh, Lord, yeah. They've told me as much. As a matter of fact, I actually had a run-in with the head of the Srazazian monarchy. They didn't take it very well when I told them that they were cowards. Don't tell a reptilian this. They don't like it much. But yeah, ultimately, but you got to remember, to be insane, you have to be in the state of sanity. If you're insane, then you are in the state of being sane, as in insane. But the psychiatrists I've gone to, all 3 of them have said you're perfectly normal, except you've got one heck of a temper when dealing with stupid people. And rest assured, I know that one all too well. Okay, but do I get looked down upon by them? No. I mean, there are many of them that do look down on me. But I mean, let's face it. You stand next to a Sarkon, I come up to like his hip. Maybe. Usually only halfway up the thigh. So I really can't blame them for looking down on me. Do I get treated differently because of it? Absolutely not. The fact of the matter is, I look in the mirror and go, I know who I am. I know what I'm up to. I know why I'm here. And that in and of itself means I cannot look at the world or will not look at the world the way most people do. And Joe, I'm still looking. I wonder if you did it the other way, which I know you did the one day. So let's just take a peek. If we go, no, not to Facebook. We want to go to YouTube. Go to YouTube and see if it went back through there. That's what you ended up doing the one day for me. So if I go there and we go down to my channel, then I go to customize. And what am I looking at here? First of all, go to the dashboard, and I'm seeing 521 viewers subscribers right now. But okay, no. But I am still watching for it there, Joe. You know, one of the important factors that you have to realize, you desire your life to change. You set the rules, but stay inside the rules of the land in which you're living. Okay. You know, that's just the reality of it. But in conjunction with that, you've got to make certain that you're actually following the law, that you're honoring other people's laws and respecting them if you desire to get it to be respected. I have no idea why I've got that. But that's okay. Now this will give you an idea. I mentioned before that my brother had an IQ of 180. This was what he called the rubber Bible. Okay. He read this thing cover to cover. Okay. Which is really, I mean, for my way of thinking, that's a little bit of dry reading, but what the heck? Okay. But if you desire your life to change, let's get on it, shall we? And start making it happen. So get that out of the way. You'll notice I said I was getting rid of a bunch of stuff, and that's essentially what's going on. But take a look at your life. Let me ask you this. In your opinion, do you feel any hope for the future at all? Okay. In your eyes, do you feel that we can turn this world around and turn it into something more effective, something more positive? Or have you been caught up in the idea that your world, this world that we all live on, one world, not first world, second world, third world, sorry, one. We're all on the same world. Okay. Is there hope for it in your eyes? In my eyes, absolutely there is. But it wasn't going to happen if I was not going to be doing my part if I continued staying in hiding. And this is why I say, pick whatever spiritual guide you choose to go to. You're going to a church and you like the church, go to the church. Okay. It's about the community. It's not about what the guy at the front of the church says. From the standpoint of, oh, you're all going to go to hell. Trust me, it's a great party there. Been there, done that. I will tell you the hot tubs are way too hot. I'm not overly impressed with them. And I'll tell you, if you're looking for a deep massage, deep tissue massage, the people in hell know how to give them way better than the ones in heaven. Yes, I've got a twisted outlook. Okay. But the first thing we have to do is get you organized in your own head, or at least yeah, Christine's just said, I'm just looking back a little here. Christine goes, I question who I am on occasion too. One of the advantages I've got is I do remember my past lives, a lot of them. I have trouble remembering what I had for breakfast this morning, but I do know what my past lives were. This is not the first time I've rode this rodeo of trying to help people stand up and go, hey, doesn't matter what your life has been like, what got you to where you are. Maybe you made some mistakes. Maybe you've had a run-in with the law. Perhaps you treated somebody poorly when you were a kid. Maybe you were a bully when you were growing up. Okay, this doesn't mean you have to continue on that road. Okay, it means you've got a past that tells you where you've been. Do not forget where you came from. Okay, but it is up to you to really turn around and go, I'm here now. Where do I go from here? Are you going to continue listening to your past failures and focusing on the things you made mistakes with? Or are you going to turn around and go, I made mistakes in the past. I made mistakes in the past, and I'm a lousy person. I've been told because I have broken this law, I'm going to go to hell. It's a great place to check in on. Don't get hung up on the reserve seat. But I will tell you, most of the people that tell you because you didn't do things exactly the way you were told, you're doomed to go to hell. I'm telling you, most of these people have blacker pasts than you do. Okay, they've all made mistakes. Every one of them, myself included, have done things. And this, I'm going to have to take out of here for a sec. I'll be right back. Okay, like I said, family first. Even in the middle of the stream, family first. Okay. Well, let me put it this way. Shadow, just to put that in perspective, I had a client that physically beat a man to death and ended up in prison. Like he ended up doing 10 years hard time. Now, I'm guessing you didn't do that. At least I'm hoping you didn't do that. There's always somebody that's done something worse than you. There's always somebody that's done something better. Okay. By the way, Shadow, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Let us shrink this down so we can take a look. And where is Shadow? There's Shadow. This is the link to Shadow's live stream. So absolutely, drop in, give him a listen. If you like what he has to say, absolutely, give him a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share the absolute daylights out of it. He's got some really neat things he works on. Okay. But, everybody's got a saying, they've got something in their past that's wrong. And this is why I tell you, whatever you've done that got you to where you are, it doesn't mean you have to keep focusing on the things you did ineffectively. You're more than welcome there, Shadow. And for those of you that aren't actually in the chat room, okay, or don't have access to it, as it were, if you're just listening to it on YouTube, where are we? Yeah, Shadow, yeah. I was going to tell him what time you come on, but that seems to be a bit of a hiccup. But no, it's up to you to make your life different than what it's been. Okay, that's your job. Now, I will point you in the right direction, or in a direction that's viable. You still get to pick. But understand, the one thing I can do, and I will be doing the other one shortly, is I'm also going to eventually be putting together a book of short stories. And again, it'll be, I don't know what the price on that one will be yet. But again, it'll boil down to this. It will require a certain amount of money, definitely the work, and a letter stating that it's your work and that I've got permission to reprint it. Okay. That kind of dream I'll be able to make happen. This is why I'm putting a publishing company together, is to help you guys, if you've got a dream in that capacity, make it happen. Yeah. Shadow goes, my shows are on at different times each day. So it's a bit of a sheep shoot to get to it. You know, so just keep an eye open. The link will still take you there. Okay. And then just watch for it. You know, I try and keep my life a little more scheduled because, well, let's face it, my schedule gets to be screwy at best. You know, now where are we here? Gee, the day is going not too terribly slowly, isn't it? But where are we? This thing. We are now, you know, the newsletter is growing slowly. But when I talk about slowly, this is the beginning stages. Right now, we're at literally, whether it's email or whether it's hard copy, doesn't matter. But combined, they go to 29 different places, literally around the world at this point. Frost Kitten, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, the reality of it is, you know, I keep looking over here. That's because that's the screen I can read on. This one, that's the one that I can see you on, which is why I keep looking back. Okay. Or I look up here, I've got a third screen up on this side. You know, just trying to keep myself confused. But when you take a look at your life and you decide, I'm not totally content with my life, then it's time to start shifting gears on. Now, what, pray tell, is this little log? I don't even know what this box contains. Oh, well. Well, now that I know what that box contains, it's not getting rid of it, but eventually I will have to put it into digital. Because this box here just contains photographs. You know those things that people my age actually still have? You know, a lot of you guys will have digital photos. Okay. But the physical ones, again, in my opinion, physical photographs, physical books, physical newsletters have a definite plus to them. And before we go down that funny little road here of, well, you're using up paper, you know, while you're putting out these physical things, you know, when you're putting out the physical things, you're using up the wood, you're using up paper. What they don't tell you is the cost of running the hydroelectric plant and the amount of pollution, the amount of damage that's being done, and the amount of raw material that's being consumed to make that a possibility. Okay, but the way I cut it to a minimum is I only turn the newsletter over to people that actually request it. Okay, it's free. It only goes to the ones that make a request. You know, but no, the reality of it is, you desire your life to start to change. You got to get off the chair. You've got to get up and move and do something. Now, some of you can do a lot of change to your life, and for that matter, a lot of damage, by just sitting in front of a computer. You'll notice I don't sit still very much. Okay. Oh, don't need that. So, I mean, I take a look at what I'm working with, and, you know, it was neat. The other day, like, I've got the books up and running, right? Here's the funny thing. I decided that, Here's the price of the books. I do charge shipping for them. But if somebody shows up at my door or in town and desires to pick up a book, I don't charge shipping for it. I don't have to because, well, I don't have to pay for it. But the shipping costs in today's world are just absolutely insane. Still working on ways around that. But thus far, ineffectively. Yeah, what is that? See, I'm going to talk to my kids. And again, this particular book is one that I've had around for a while, but frankly, I don't open the thing. And since I'm getting rid of things, this one simply covers, British Columbia, which to me matters. I've been here my whole life. But it covers from 1871 to 1971. So it's a little out of date for modern history, but hey, what the heck? So I'm going to talk to my kids. If they don't want it, it'll go. Because I'm not hanging on to it any longer. What are these ones? Marwin. So, when I take a look at things, I go, you desire your life to change. Oh, bonus. Thank you so much there, Frostkitten, on Shadow's behalf, that is. And on mine for that matter. But, I look at it this way. You desire your life to change. It's time to get up and do something with it. This idea of hoping it's going to change, or hoping the government's going to tell you how to change it, or hoping somebody else is going to straighten it out, not going to happen in all likelihood. There's an old saying that goes, teach a man to fish, you feed him, give a man a fish, you feed him for life. Teach a man you feed to fish. No, give him, that's a big fish. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. The tools I'm offering are ones that I know for an absolute fact can change your life for what you consider the better. Okay? But it's up to you to get up and make it happen. Okay? If you've got something you'd like to share, if you've got a goal and you just don't feel like telling it here, okay, absolutely drop me a line. I do my best to respond to emails. As we've seen, technology is not always cooperative for me. Okay, but I will continue doing what I do. What I do here, I do for free. What I do with the newsletters, I do for free. Okay, do I still consult? The answer is absolutely yes. Okay, and that I only charge, I've literally dropped my prices again to $20 prepaid, $20 Canadian prepaid, for 15 minutes. The reason for that is I have been paid in excess of $2,600 an hour, but the people that can afford that are not usually willing to make changes necessary. The ones that really require the guidance are people like you guys that don't necessarily have millions of dollars to your name. Okay, in my case, one day I will. I've already decided that's my new reality. Not this issue of fighting one paycheck to the next, but this issue of making my life change. Okay. And, I really owe you guys a lot for the encouragement that I've had since I started the stream. But again, if you've got a question, doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter what the topic. Post it in the chat room. I'd be more than happy to do my best to answer it. Will I give you necessarily the answer you desire? Probably not. But that depends. If you're looking for an honest answer Absolutely, I'll give you an honest one. It may not be the answer you're looking for or the answer you're expecting. You know, so I just look at the world that I've got going on right now. As a matter of fact, I wonder, no, that shouldn't be it. Must be, and I can probably do this one almost overnight. That's blue, so that won't be right. Yep. Here's another little booklet that I wrote a while back that will be turned into a full-size book. Okay, and I just have to open it up and transfer the settings on it. So, it's not like I don't have enough to do. Okay, the reality is I desire my life to change, which means all the stuff I've got floating around is going to depart and go where it belongs. Do I have room? At this point, not that I know where it's going to go, but that's okay. But when I said kickstart your life, it boils down to this. You can listen to people telling you you can't accomplish anything. You really can go down that road if you'd like, but why bother? Okay, there's an old saying that you can accomplish anything in life if you set your sights low enough. Okay, now with that in mind, why bother shooting for the floorboards? I can understand shooting for the backboard if you're playing basketball. Okay, or for the back wall if you're playing baseball. But why shoot for the floorboards if you're looking to accomplish something? Okay, this is the time that we've got to start looking at each other and going, okay, divide together we stand, divided we fall. Meaning, every one of you has something to offer this world. Every one of you has a gift to do something well. There will certainly always be people better or somebody worse, or somebody that had a better life, somebody that had a worse life. Oh, nice. Frost Kicking goes, if you want a nail biter, check out my new video. I won the race by 3 milliseconds. Frost, you're going to have, no, you don't have to, but I'd really appreciate it if you'd post that link. I know you can, so that we can take a look at it. But yeah, a race like that, and again, you only need to win it by milliseconds, but you won it, and that would be the issue of you pushed your limits and made it. So without my even seeing the video, congratulations. This is what I mean by make certain that you really focus on things and give it everything you can to make that dream a reality. Okay, this idea that, oh, you got into the race, here's a trophy for you because you participated. I'm looking at that going, loses a whole lot of the impact. I'm guessing everybody that was in that race, and correct me if I'm wrong, Frost, but I'm guessing that not everybody that was in the race got a trophy. Okay, let us see here. Hopefully I won't screw something up. If I do, I will apologize ahead of time. And just calling it up here. There we go. Yeah, I'm not going to watch the whole thing right now, but it comes up fine. Oh, there we have it. I'm just looking at what the track was. Maybe I will let it run here. I can't post it here, guys. I've got it running on my side view, which I'm going to put it over on the other screen so I can keep an eye on what's going on. But this is what I mean. I'm really happy this computer is actually cooperating today. But yeah, I've got it right here. Oh, okay, it's a video game you were on. I watched somebody the other day. Okay, a friend of mine, Actually, she posted a video of her going skydiving. You know, yeah, this sort of thing. What we've got here is Frost Kitten is playing a game where she's running a race on Sea-Doos, you know, with trick jumps and the whole 9 yards. You know, but she's got somebody right hot on her tail. You know, and I'll tell you, if you make some of these jumps wrong, you'll roll the bike. But you really are jumping back and forth on who's in lead, aren't you? Now we're about 130 through a 230 run. Yeah, and I realize this is called indulging myself, but hey, welcome to a live stream. There is no guaranteeing which way things are going to go. You know, I can't tell, to be honest with you. I can tell where she is, but I can't tell you how far along the track it is, because it's just showing what we see here. Oh, that lost a fair chunk. Yeah, definitely not a perfect run, but I'll tell you. Oh, I see. And over we go. Oh, that did not work out well for him. Boy, did you ever cut that one tight there, Frost. Well done. Very nicely done. Now, that takes care of that one, so we can close that down. Oh, sheep. That did not work well. Hit the wrong button too quick. Let's let that run again, because there was something I wanted to do that I didn't do. So I'm just going to run it again until I can. Oh, there we are. And we go here. We go give it a thumbs up and share it on Facebook. And there you go. And we've just passed that on for you there, Frost. We already gave it the thumbs up, so that works out well. I don't need that. But very nicely done. Okay. And like I said, this is live stream, so I just go whichever way things go. This is why I talk about this idea of whatever topic comes up, I'm quite willing to work with. For those of you that are new to the stream, definitely, if you like the stream, or even if you're old to the stream, if you like the stream, do give us a thumbs up, do subscribe to the channel, and please share the daylights out of it. It is time for us to change everybody's life right here, right now. But that's done by focusing on things of a positive nature and really sharing those. And like I said, if you are one of these people that reads the negative news, or you watch the videos that people say, oh, here's a wardrobe fail. Every time you do that, you're literally taking in negative energy. Watch or read 2 positive things for every negative one you read. Okay, because the reason for that is it brings the energy back to the positive side. Okay, now I will tell you, with what I've got going on here, you know, I've got a lot of changes that are happening, and which, let me see here. Oh, okay. So I've got a couple of things here. This little thing, oh, I'm right out of sight here, so you can't see it anyway. But I look at the way I've got things going, and I go, okay, I've got a choice. I can either focus on the negative things or focus on the, you know, and really let myself get depressed. You can focus on the bad things that happen. Like, I mean, you take a look at what Frost just shared with us. Well, She shared it with every one of you, and I do recommend you give that video link a link, and you give it a hit. Take a look at it. It's only 2.5 minutes out of your day. Okay. But it meant enough to Frost Kitten to put that link up. Let's show her a little bit of appreciation, and a little bit of support, and go and spend 2 minutes watching, 2.5 minutes watching a real short video, give it a thumbs up, and absolutely share it so other people can share. This is just the way the reality that the world will turn. Okay, that we can change the path that society is on, which, by the way, society is really on a declining path right now. You don't need me telling you that. What you do need me telling you, or what may be an idea, is that the world that we've got is the world we do have control over, whether it changes. Now, remember I said I was getting rid of a bunch of stuff and therefore altering my world. See this fine little box? It's now empty. And the reason I do that, like I said, it's a question of taking all the excess stuff that I've got and getting it out of the way. Disposing of it where I can. I don't know if that's going to work. Nope, that one will not fit there. This is the book that I can't put in the place I was going to. This might give you an idea of my focal point. There's a book I was given a while ago. Now, needless to say, I don't actually, I do follow the X-Men, absolutely. So I'm not about to throw that out anytime soon. But that's just me. Fortunately, I've got a bookshelf it can go in. But this is what I meant. You don't sit around. This is why I said if you've got something you've got to do, thinking about it isn't going to help. Okay. I mean, it's a great idea to think about it, but you've got to get off your tail feathers and do it. Now, this box here, I think, will go tomorrow and we'll go today after the stream. Yeah, that one is full of... That one is simply going to be moved to my son's room. Because that's his paperwork from when he was a kid in school. But when we talk about changing your life and kickstarting it, absolutely decide you're going to do something. And of course, I've got a question for you guys. Totally useless question. This little suitcase. Yeah, it's definitely a wreck. Not surprising. I'm going to be talking to my brothers to see if either one of them wants it. One, I know he'll say no because he doesn't have a house to live in. The other one might want it. But in your guys' opinion, this is literally the suitcase that my mom moved out of her birth home with back in 1956. Okay. So it's a little bit on the old side. But in your guys' opinion, what would you suggest doing with it other than the fact it's going? It's worn a bit. Absolutely. But the thing was, let's face it, 1956, we're looking at almost 70 years old. A lot of the catches on the front end still work. Okay, well, that one doesn't, and that one works, as in it still catches. Okay, but it in and of itself isn't still functional. This one, now here's the issue around quality in today's world. This lock, okay, is from 1956, and it still works. Okay, is there anything in there? No. So what I haven't quite figured out is what to do with it. other than it is going. I'm going to talk to my brothers first to see if they actually want it for posterity's sake. Myself, I've got what I required out of it. In other words, I've had it for decades. Chad Smith goes, what have we got here? Oh, Chad goes, that suitcase looks just like it would make a good solar generator battery, solar charger, controller, and inverter. They would all fit in there. Then you'd have a mobile solar generator. Yeah, and that's an intriguing idea. Unfortunately, I have no idea how to make one of those. But yeah, that's, and it's still solid. That's the nice part about it. But that's an idea that goes way outside of what I was thinking. That being said, and this is going to sound really bizarre, but that being said, I'm quite willing to ship that thing wherever, right? It is an interesting little piece. It's not in perfect shape by any functional stretch, but it is leaving my house. That's just the way that my world goes. But like I said, it's a question of really looking in the mirror and going, are you content with the way your life is running right now? If the answer is yes, you stay with it. If the answer is no, it's time to make changes. Yeah, Joe's going, could you show us your paranormal stuff? Or is it way too big to fit through your bedroom door? Depends on which paranormal stuff we're referring to. Because I've got the books in here. I'm just trying to think of which ones you're referring to. So let me ask you this. From your stand, was there anything in particular you had in mind there, Joe? Because some of the paranormal stuff I've got, I keep a lot of it right in the room. Not the least of which is this thing. It's a beautiful energy collector. And it's not too big to get into the room. But this one works really well as an energy collector and battery. Okay, it sits up on my shelf. But this is solanite. Thing is, this thing actually talks to me at the same time. Okay, so is it too big to carry? No. If I had one that size, I'd have a problem. And wouldn't be so much too big. It's way too heavy. Let's put it back up there. Chad, from my standpoint, the early 80s, in the early 1980s was when that was when my generation was heavily into the Halloween thing. I ended up in the early 80s, I ended up dressing as a road warrior. Okay, and that's where this funny little gun came in. This funny little thing here. Okay, and rest assured, that caught the attention of the police. Funny part about it is it absolutely has no moving parts. It never did. It's a complete mock-up. But this is the same gun. If you're reading the Yldrbac Chronicles, this is the gun that Blade packs. Right? He's got a shoulder holster, so it goes in here. I actually had the whole Road Warrior setup where that's where it sat. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, the cop was not happy, but this thing was made. This pipe was never part of a gun. Okay, so it was made with just a pipe, right? That's just, I don't know, modeling putty of one form or another. and the rest of it's wood. But yeah, a buddy of mine made it, right, for me for Halloween. But I'll tell you, dressed as a road warrior, this nearly got me into a lot of trouble. So no, that one's not getting thrown out. But no, the 1980s, I was very much a different individual. I haven't done that sort of thing, and I've got no real functional interest in doing that sort of thing because it requires my getting out of the house. Doesn't happen very often. And besides that, they got so many stipulations and rules now that, it's taken a lot of the ability to relax and throwing it away. When I was growing up, you used to have things like apple bobbing and that sort of thing. Okay. AKA bobbing for apples. Or you'd have, you'd buy a pinata and use that. But the reality of it is, people got absolutely twisted and out of shape in a lot of ways. Yeah, Chad goes, that's it. I'm going to be a road warrior this year. How are you doing, Terry? Glad you could join us. I will tell you though, just a caution there, Chad. When I went as a road warrior, not only did I have that shotgun, I also had a pair of American pineapples. Okay. And I'll tell you, cops get really edgy on Halloween night when you're walking around downtown with that. Especially given that I also had a katana at the time. Actually, it was a katana wakizashi set. But there's a lot, there's a lot to be said about social gathering. And I realized, I got another post the other day that somebody decided to say, we've got the COVID problem again and we've got to worry. You can worry about what you will. I've already died. I'm good with it. But where are we here? Joe says, the only thing I got to show for paranormal for me is just a small hard binder with lined paper and colored label dividers. And I've just written experience on it, Not much. Oh, there was one other thing I can show you here, Joe. And that's this thing here. And this poor little monster, I took this through security at the airport one day, and I fried their entire custom system with it. Right, as in I just toasted both lines of their custom and their scanning equipment. And the guy was funny because I'm going through and I didn't think anything of it. I pulled all my electronics out, and the poor security chap, he stops and he looks at me and goes, "What's in your bag?" So I looked through my stuff and got my computer, my cell phone, everything out of the way. He says, there shouldn't be anything in it. He goes, "It's round." I said, "Oh, that'd be my crystal ball." And he says, "Pardon?" I said, "I'll pull it out slowly." So I opened the bag up, pulled the thing out, and handed it to him. And he looks at it and he goes, "That is real." I said, "Well, I could have told you that, but why, pray tell, are you so agitated?" So he spun the monitor around. I burned the entire monitor out. And then all of a sudden the alarms went off and both computer systems on the other side of the room went down. So when I'm coming back through security on the next trip, the guy spots me in the lineup and he looks at me and he goes, "You over here, you're not going through my computer." Which was fun from my end. Henry, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I trust your day's been going well. But yeah, this thing I've used to scry, I actually used it to find where to sink an artesian well in Newfoundland. I'm down in BC. Newfoundland is on the other side of the country. So I used this to guide a woman on where to sink an artesian well. Told her exactly how far down to go, and then had had her contractor. He ended up phoning me to ask how the heck I pulled that off. because I said, because the directions I gave them were pretty specific. And he turned around and he says, look, he goes, what you told her, I told her, was absolutely on the money. 38, that is no fun. We're really mild today. Where is my phone? I put it down somewhere and now I can't see it. There it is. Nope, that's not it. Oh, sure. Took my phone off and I don't know where the heck I put it. So I can't even check what the temperature is right now. But I do know, last time I checked myself, it was like 24, I think. So quite happy that I'm not looking at 38. We've been that hot here before. But I gotta ask Henry, where, pray tell, are you sitting right now? Just because I'm nosy. But no, the way I wonder why I did it now, that's going to bother me. Because usually I've got my cell phone right handy that I keep an eye on it. But then I'll do something silly like move it, or it'll move of its own accord. So I don't know where it went. It's going to have to stay wherever it is. Hopefully it doesn't go somewhere else. But that being said, when we talk about where your world, oh, there you go. Henry, oh, okay. In town west of Medicine Hat. Yeah, if you're in Alberta, I mean, you only have two temperatures there, hot and hotter. That's in the winter, and then of course in the summer. Then of course in the winter you go with cold and colder. I'm not sure if you actually get spring there, you know, as in rain and a little more rain. Yeah, I don't blame you there, Henry. You know, yeah, Joe's just going, now my dream journal or journals, that's sacred to me, and praising the Lord for it. You know, yeah, absolutely. When you start taking a look at those, and again, those are one of those things that I will end up turning around and making certain people can deal with. Now, of course, the reality is I've got a printer out here that is absolutely bang on the money. Okay, that I will continually using probably for the rest of my life, because she says she's got about another 15 years that she'll still be doing the printing work. Well, let's face it, 15 years, that'll put me close to 80. Yeah. Yeah, Henry goes, we do sometimes. Not this year. We went straight from winter into summer. And before that, we went straight from summer into winter. Yeah, I mean, we were lucky this year. It was great. It used to be regular as clockwork. We hit September 1st, and somebody took the thermostat and went crank down and dropped it 20 degrees like that. You know, with you, it was for more than for decades. You'd hit that September 1st, and all of a sudden it turned down. JCL, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Yeah. Christine's going, we're at our hottest in September. It sucks. you know, I'm perfectly, like, for me, where it comes to temperature, I'm fine to about 30 degrees. I used to be absolutely comfortable to 40. You know, nowadays it boils down to making certain that I stay on top of things. You know, and like I said, this is the first time I've had a fan running almost all the time. But I do like this little guy, because this little guy, you know, works like a charm, but he's small enough he doesn't make any noise. You know, so I mean, the reality of it is, yeah, Christine goes, I wish we'd cool down in September when real fall should start. You know, I mean, I'm good with it. You know, with the temperature, I'm fine with the cold. For me, it really boils down to when the ice hits, I stop moving. But that's not because I've got a problem with arthritis or anything. It's because I don't like the ice. You know, but you take a look at this, and then you take a look at the countries and the areas where they don't have air conditioning, and you really feel for them. You know, from my standpoint, I am looking at different ways of expanding things. Okay, I'm making things change. But when I said I'm building something, I am targeting a very high market. Yeah, and we won't push for that one there, Christine. You know, from my standpoint, it really boils down to this. Everybody has different tolerance levels. I used to be, you know, I'd sit at 40 degrees and I'd work continually. Now I get over 30 and it starts to wear me out. So yeah, I am apparently slowing down. But I'm not about to pass, to pass away anytime soon, at least not permanently. I got way too much left to do and too many things to set in motion. I didn't do that. That's terrible. That should actually be over there so you can still see the other side of it. But no, with me, I made a major breakthrough. Hey Raven, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, I made a real breakthrough with a barrier I had run into with Return to Paradise. Finally got the barrier broken, and now it's all coming together real quick. You know, did I miss anything here? Not that I can tell. Okay, but let's go down there, and there we are. So, I mean, realistically, hopefully I know every one of you has a goal. Okay, I know that for an absolute certainty. As a matter of fact, let us write this. Email. I've got 2 people I have to email, and I really got to do it ASAP. But, because I keep postponing it because I ran into hiccups and what have you. But I got to get it all tied together. There we go. But take a look at where your life is. You can talk about, people say plan your life. That's a great thought. But I'll tell you, when we're talking about planning your life out, I'm talking about the next 5 minutes only. Okay, pick a goal. Doesn't matter what it is. Something sitting in your house, right where you can see it, right this moment. If it doesn't belong there, it's time to start getting rid of it. And that's why you're noticing these boxes are disappearing. And they're disappearing because I no longer have a use for them. Okay. Or they're being put where they belong because I won't be moving out of this room. Like, this is where I'm going to live for the rest of my life in all likelihood. Unless I happen to drop dead, which I guess would mean the rest of my life is done. But, got a couple of people I got to deal with. One thing about it, if you can do something on your own, okay, and I'm going to pass this one off. This is from a gentleman I know in town here. Because like I've told you guys, my other half is 100% blind. And this is a message to those of you that have a partner that is disabled in some form or challenged in some form. But this is specifically regarding your eyesight. Or more to the point, if you have to be married and be attached to somebody that is either really hard of seeing or absolutely blind, the one thing that this gentleman I was talking to said was, if you've got a blind partner, do not automatically do things for them. Okay? Let them struggle. Let them make a mess if they're going to. But do not step in and take over unless you're asked, or if it is life and or limb threatening. Absolutely. If they're trying to cook in the kitchen and the stove catches fire, absolutely don't wait for their permission. You know, it's like I told my other half, I'm a real control freak. I will absolutely not back her in driving in downtown traffic. I'm just not going to do it. You know, because the reality of it is, well, you figure it out. She's blind. So are most of the people that seem to have licenses, by the way. They also seem to be blind, it would seem. Because, I mean, I watch the way some people drive. I'm going like, how did you possibly get your license in the first place? You know, but, oh, and look at that. Anyway, guys, we are hitting the 2-hour mark here. Obviously, because it says 2 hours. So with that in mind, I'm going to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. You know, if you like the stream, give it a thumbs up. You know, give it, and do subscribe. Absolutely share the daylights out of it. I will be back hopefully tomorrow. The idea is tomorrow is Tuesday. So let me just take a peek at that. Tuesday, we are looking at what? There we are. Tomorrow, we're looking at the alien side of it. Okay. And that being said, we're going to look at the Caborans. Okay, we're going to look at what a Caboran is, which, by the way, in short, that's the planet you're standing on. Okay, that's the species you're standing on right now. Okay, so we're going to cover them tomorrow. And then Wednesday is scheduled. What do we got here? Wednesday is scheduled to look at, your physical health and how it affects your life and what you can do to bring it all back on track. Yes, we definitely do there. Well, in all fairness, I don't have aliens. I've got a number of friends that are alien, but I don't own them. That said, people, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I will be back again tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.